Part 4. Why are so many people defaulting on their Helb loans? Why is the rate of default so high? The rate of default, it stood at 43% in the 2012-2013 financial year. 43%. So in 2018, according to Richard Mahala, the default rate was 40%. 40% of student loans were in default. There's figures that we have in 2019, 74,000 defaulters. There are 74,000 loan defaulters. That's a high number of people. Kiplimo in 2017, he recommended future studies to explore the factors that cause defaulting. Because you can't just study the strategies to get your money. You can't just study the success rate of getting your money, right? You have to, why are these guys defaulting? And Rachel Jemutai in 2005, she says the likelihood that a loanee will default on a university loan is related to a complex web of factors. Are we studying these factors? Like Kiplimo advises us to do. And here's the thing. Remember when there's an early warning system as one of the strategies to handle these kinds of defaults? Well, there is a system of predicting whether somebody will default on a loan. Same way insurance companies predict like the likelihood of you becoming sick, and they use that to set their premiums and all those other things. So there are a number of things that you can use to see if the people default. Employment status, the degree, like the people who do education, they are the highest number of defaulters. Then there's the bursary application, right? The type of application that they made. Then there's the gender. Yes, you can tell the likelihood of somebody defaulting by gender. Again, yes, this is what I wanted to tell you. Yes, you can tell, you can use this one as predictors, but they have different weights attached to them. The greatest weight is employment. For example, in a survey by Mwangi Johnson Mudhi in 2015, 70% of the defaulters were unemployed. 83% of non-defaulters were employed. So the guys paying are employed. The guys not paying, 70% are unemployed. So for the guys who pay, right? You have a job, perhaps you have family status. Don't start belittling the guys who cannot pay. Because the stats show 70% of them are unemployed. Just because you paid, then you are going to say that, everybody should pay. There are factors that we need to study. So anyway, borrowers who experienced unemployment showed unemployment. If you are a borrower and then you experience unemployment, you will show an 83% increase in the probability of default. Because what are you going to pay with? Borrowers who are unemployed have are more than 2 times likely to default than employed borrowers. 83% of borrowers, they said that lack of employment and lack of income were very great reasons for their default. So when you come after these guys, they're not saying that they don't want to pay, because they just don't want to pay. There is no money. Most of those guys who are paying are in government. They have a job. It's a steady job. 70% of those who are defaulting, they're unemployed. There is a relationship between economic dynamics and student loan recovery. That is a statement by Richard Mahala in 2018. The economics dynamics that he's studying are employment and inflation. The effect of employment and inflation on student loan recovery. And this is what he found. That you can actually explain student loan recovery and employment and inflation by 81.03%. Like if you want to to explain why this is happening and this is not happening when it comes to student loan recovery, you can 83% of that explanation would fall under inflation and employment. And this is what he says: inflation contributes negatively to student loan recovery. So when you're coming to impose penalties on a student and inflation is contributing, it's part of the 81% explanation of why this student is defaulting. Are you really being fair? Employment has positive effects on the recovery of loans, and we've seen that 80+% of those who are paying are employed. So when you're coming after people, imposing penalties, imposing fines, coming with police and all those kind of things, are you considering the employment of these people? Are you simply looking at a job? Has a job, you must pay. Are you looking at the income this guy is receiving? Because these guys are saying that their income is a strong factor when it comes to repaying their loans. Are you considering that? So Mala also says, right, that other than economic factors, there could be other factors related to the borrower. Remember, commercial loans perform better than the Helb loans, right? So you can't really compare the two, right? Because you can say commercial loans, there's still inflation, there's still a high rate of unemployment. But Mala is saying there could be other factors related to the borrower. And studying these borrower characteristics is important.